Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Trust is an element of life that can be very difficult for a lot of people in a numerous amount of ways. Trust is one of those things where you know it or you ignore it, depending on what situation you're in. There's people all around you that you have to accept, that you have to interact with them knowing you don't fully trust them, that they are capable of anything at any moment, at any time, under any circumstance, during any situation, within any relationship. You don't know what these people are thinking. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know their heartbreak. You don't know their past. You certainly don't know their future. You don't know their potential. You don't know their purpose. You don't know anything about these people. Now, you may say, who am I describing? Am I describing a stranger off the street, a coworker, an acquaintance, a new friend? I'm talking about the people who are closest to you. Being brave and bold with the brave never fall, trust was one of the things that I had to really believe in. In order for me to trust someone else, I had to know at my core, I had to know I could trust myself to trust other people. And to go further than that, I had to know that I have to trust the untrustworthy. Because as Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, which is what I follow, the Tao, when you don't trust someone, you make them untrustworthy. It's a belief system. You have to believe everyone's trustworthy. Let them bury themselves. It doesn't matter if this person is trustworthy or not. They're going to make their decisions, and their decisions will affect them a certain way, and it will affect you a certain way. The good thing about it is you don't have to live with their decision making. You can make the decision on your own to interact with this person on whatever level of trust you want to have with these people. Every relationship is based on trust on some fundamental level. Even if you don't know someone, even if you just bump into somebody on the street, you have to trust that this person isn't going to turn around and do something harmful to you. Or you can trust that this person may turn around and say, I'm sorry, I bumped into you. That trust can go both ways. I think too often people look at trust as a betrayal. They look at it as lies and deceit, where it goes a lot further than that when you really dive into that word. I always break everything down into core fundamental principles of what they are. I break them down to their smallest attributes, the smallest atom, the smallest particle you can get out of everything. Every word, everything in life has to be broken down if you truly want to understand it. If you're a mechanic and you're working on a car, you want to know every single thing about that car, every nut and bolt, how it works, how it operates, how that engine operates, what all the scenarios are when things go wrong, what all the scenarios are when things go right. How will that car respond? You need to know that, or how can you fix anything? Trust in yourself to an extent where you break yourself down, just like I just broke down, like a mechanic would break down a car. You want to do that with yourself. You are your own vessel. You are your own vehicle. I believe you owe it to yourself to know everything about yourself first, before you start labeling and putting yourself in relationships with other people when you haven't figured yourself completely out. Now, I know in life, and I've noticed this lately, the sensitivity of people is at an all-time high. And I don't know if it's because of social media or the world is being desensitized due to films and the connection we have throughout the world at our fingertips. We can just get online and we can talk to somebody halfway across the world at any point in time and get a different perspective, not only on a particular topic, but for somebody from a completely different culture entirely. The world has opened up and connected in a way that almost excludes a lot of people from understanding who they are, because now you really aren't alone. You know, dating used to be, if you wanted to date someone, you had to approach someone and say, hey, hello, my name is this. I noticed this and that, or whatever you're going to do to start a conversation with this person. Now you don't do that. You just post your especially with Facebook and social and Instagram, any type of social media, post a picture, and most likely you, especially if you're a woman, you're going to have 10 dates lined up before you realize it. One of the things I do not like about social media is that it's too accessible for people to be comfortable. There's always someone waiting in the wings if somebody else disappoints you. There's always a backup plan, which I guess there's nothing wrong with that. It's your life, do as you wish. But I treat social media for what it is. I post something and I move on. Now, I have had success dealing with social media in certain ways where when you're connected with people, it's an easier way to talk to multiple people at the same time and kind of get a gauge on how things are. And again, we're talking about trust. That doesn't mean just because you meet someone online or you meet someone in person, the level of trust is still the exact same, because you have to trust yourself first in order to trust other people. It goes back to, what do you ultimately want for yourself before you start wanting to know what you want from other people? And that's a hard question to answer. And again, this goes back to the sense of people being desensitized to people who do not just sugarcoat everything, and they don't make excuses, and they try to be self-disciplined, and they're going about their lives in a way where they say, I know what I need to do. I know I have issues and I'm working on them. I don't expect anyone else to help me with my issues. I don't expect other people to walk on eggshells around me. I have to work on my issues alone, and if I can't help myself, I have to go get help from other people. I need a therapist. I need a mentor. I need a coach. I need someone to help me understand who I am, or otherwise I can't understand anyone else. Not fully. And I should never expect anyone to understand me fully if I don't fully understand myself. And I've noticed the more people that I talk to, one of the biggest challenges that they have, especially people who come to me for advice and for help and for coaching, is that they all share one thing. They're extremely, extremely sensitive people. They're fearful, doubtful, sensitive people. And rightfully so. A lot of these people have had very harsh, hard backgrounds. They weren't nurtured as children. They came from broken homes. They were abused emotionally, physically. They have no religion. They have no support system. They have no skills. They're not very knowledgeable. Now, that's not describing one person. These are all different types of people that share little attributes and labels that you want to apply to them to create a unique individual. But at the core, these people are broken. And I know what that feels like. I was a very broken individual. And one of the things that got me out of the darkness of being broken is that I understood that the quicker I can understand who I am, life will be a lot easier. It will never be easy. I never expect life to be easy. If life gets easy for me, something I'm doing has gotten extremely comfortable, and I'm the type of person, I don't like comfortable. I don't mind comfortable when it comes to life, but I want to be prepared for anything. I want to be able to push myself and explore this world. And the only way to do that is that you're going to have to learn new things, and learning new things is hard and uncomfortable. When you want new challenges physically, that's hard and uncomfortable. So it's not a bad thing to say, I want to be uncomfortable in a certain sense. That just means you're not satisfied with certain aspects of your life, and you want more out of the beauty of this world and out of the beauty of people who are kind and trustworthy. The people in this world who can take someone else's criticism and say, thank you, I'll work on it, and they truly believe and know in their heart, yes, your criticism is correct, I will work on it. Your criticism is incorrect. I admire your opinion, but I have that covered for myself, and I don't need your validation. That's huge. That's a game changer mindset. When you start digging into yourself and you figure out who you are, you can fundamentally stand up to other people and say, without any hesitation, I know who I am. I don't need you to make me happy. I don't need you if I fall. I'll be okay. You are a bonus. You are a gift in my life. And I'm very happy to have you. But by no means do I feel responsible as like some kind of tool to make you feel as happy as I am when you haven't put the work into it. Because that's the issue that we have here with people. People want the easy route out. They want to walk up to me or anybody who has knowledge, and they'll ask a question like, how did you get here? What are your tips and tricks? And I look at them as if they have 14 heads. There are no tips and tricks to self-love. It's a long journey filled with dedication and purpose. I tell people all the time, you have purpose. Your fundamental purpose is something that will never go away, and that is staying true to who you are once you find yourself. Staying true to who you are when you through this journey of trying to find yourself. When you're walking your path, there's enough purpose alone of you trying to find who you are. That's enough reason every day for me to get up and continue my journey, because I'm constantly trying to find out who I am and my limitations, and I hope there aren't any. I want to prove to myself that I can keep learning and keep experiencing new things in this world and be in relationships that are very high in value. I want people to see me for who I am and accept me unconditionally for who I am and trust me, because they can see and they can know that I am, no matter what happens in my life, a trustworthy person who learns from their mistakes, no ill will in their heart, and would die easily to help other people if it meant saving lives. It's a person of true character is what I would like other people to see in me. But unfortunately, people say, when you say stuff like that to people, this is where the trust thing comes in. A lot of people will base their trust on you based on how they feel about themselves. And these are the things that I had to learn and learn hard, because these are the things that will break your heart. When someone looks upon you and they're judging you based on who they are more than they're basing you on who you are, you cannot take that personally. But that does not mean these people need to be in your life as well. Because what's happening is that's called projection. You have something that they don't have. There's something in you, a strength, the knowledge, your purpose, your success, your accomplishments, your will, your self-discipline, your self-love, the fact that you value yourself. There's a part of them that wants that. So how do they get it? They'll try to suck the life out of you like a damn vampire. They'll take every single bit of you that they can get, and they will move on, because they know, because they have enough. And let's get this true and correct. These people have enough knowledge and self-love in their bodies to know what they're doing. These are decisions. These are choices these people are making. This isn't an accident when someone comes into your life and next thing you know, you find yourself miserable and they're gaining strength, it seems. They're gaining strength, confidence, more wisdom, and they're getting it from you. Some people may say, well, what is wrong with that? Actually, there's nothing wrong with that, because these people will learn something. But a lot of these people will take that and apply it to the next person that they meet, because there's always a next person. And one of the things I've found in life is that when people get to a point where they feel like they can do these types of things to you based on their issues, they want to make their issues your issues, and they want you to understand everything that they're coming from, but they're not listening to anything you have to say. They don't care about what you are doing. All they care about is what you are, what you mean to them, how you value them, and how you build them up to be something that they know they haven't earned. And if you don't do it, they're going to find it somewhere else. This is the definition of a toxic person. When people ask me, why do I jettison, I hate to use that word, but that's what pops in my mind. Why do I jettison people who are negative and toxic in my life? It's a very simple thing. It's because people will betray you in a way that is so vindictive, manipulative, narcissistic, and selfish that it's shocking. And it's a very negative character trait that a lot of people have. And it's it's one of the things that I don't like about people, because it's a choice. These people are choosing to do this. They're not choosing to go get help. When these people come to you and they say, these are my issues, and I'll say to them, have you sought out help? No. Why not? I don't know. If there's something wrong with me, I'm going to go get help. And sure, people make mistakes. Sure, people have to learn over time the degree of help they actually need. And everyone needs different types of help. So I don't recommend to people, this is what you need to go do. I just try to get people to see that you do need help, and you can't get it from people in relationships. You can't get it from a coworker. You can't get it from your spouse and your mothers and your children's and your fathers. And it just doesn't work like that. They can support you. They can aid you. They can unconditionally love you. They can be there for you. They can offer you advice. They can help you. But they are not responsible for your happiness. They will never be. They never should be. And you shouldn't expect them to be. Support is not the same thing as help. Someone listening to you and offering you support and offering you advice is not helping you. That's them being unconditionally there to support you. The true help comes when you go to someone you don't know and get told by somebody who you cannot manipulate, that you cannot project on, that your narcissistic, selfish qualities will not work on. You have to sit there and face the music. Since you're incapable of looking in the mirror and giving yourself a very honest analysis of who you are and what you need to work on, and actually go out and do it without hurting other people with malice and intent, then you need to go have someone else tell you to do this. And if you need medication, or if you need therapy sessions, group sessions, then you do all those things. That's how you create trust with somebody you're trying to ask from trust from. The people that you want to trust you, you cannot get them to trust you if you're doing untrustworthy things. It has to go both ways. And if someone doesn't see the effort behind it, if you don't have the patience and the fortitude and the will and the self-discipline to be patient with other people that you're trying to quote unquote trust, how do you expect them to return that to you in full? It's almost impossible. These people will love you unconditionally. These people will always love you if they are true to you. If the people who are closest to you, we're not talking about at this point coworkers and acquaintances. That's a different type of trust. The people who are closest to you, the ones that should understand you more than anyone. If these people are, as I said, the living definition of toxic, because it's a roller coaster ride. They're up, they're down, they're in a strange flow pattern that doesn't quite sync up with, not forget everyone else, with their own patterns and rhythms. They're so out of sync with themselves that they can't line up all of the intricacies in their brain and their heart and their body and their soul. They're unbalanced people. One of the things I love about Tao is that we take everything, like I said, and we break them down and we understand them at their core principle. But we also recognize and understand that if you truly want someone, if you truly want to help someone, if you truly want to be in a symbiotic relationship with everyone in the world, the Nexus is what I always say. And if at a core relationship aspect with anyone, stranger all the way up to your spouse, one of the things you have to do is that you have to trust yourself enough to know the difference between people who are trying to do things to you with intent, with malice. These people are making choices to hurt you, and the people who are people you should learn from. And they're not so much trying to, the trust level almost seems like it's non-existent. These people, they're almost like they don't even exist in your life. But somehow you have some connection with them, some very trustworthy connection with them. And you often find the people who talk about trust all the time and who are just seem to be enveloped in it, those are the ones that end up being toxic. They're the ones who always are asking for trust and they want you to do this and this. But when you peek behind the curtain, you see that these people are very untrustworthy themselves. Again, that's projecting. They're afraid you're doing what they're doing. They're scared out of their minds and fearful that you're doing and thinking and acting the exact same way that they are, and they don't want you to do that. Because that means you figure them out, and then they'll lose you. The people who are aware, and this is again something I always preach to people, be aware of what people's true intentions are at all times. It will not make you a monster. It will not make you a cold machine. It just makes you a person who values yourself, and you have self-love. Because you love yourself too much to be fooled and manipulated by people who have ill intent and are choosing to enter your life and try to get something from you they have not earned. Your time is extremely valuable. Self-love will always teach you that. Self-discipline will always guide you through that. Your time is valuable. You do not have enough time to freely give yourself to people, give your time to people who have not earned it. Only invest in people who are invested in you. If they're not invested in you, you do not invest in them. If someone is treating you as if you're untrustworthy, you need to say goodbye to them, especially if you believe in your heart and you know who you are, that you're completely trustworthy. You owe no one anything. You only owe to yourself the dignity you've earned through getting through all the stages that these people who are wanting from you haven't walked through yet. You've done your homework. They can see that. That's why you are attracted to these people. These people can see clearly you're special, you're unique, you have found your purpose, and that has given you a glow in a certain sense. You, even if things are crumbling around you, you're still walking, you're still talking, you're still treating people with respect, you're still trying to give relationships a go. You're not giving up on people, you're just giving up on the people who have not invested in you. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the definition of self-love. Being a trustful person, a person of integrity, a person who is consistent, a person who is completely understanding to the point where they know, again, going back to this word time, you cannot figure out through a short amount of time how people are. It takes a long time. That's why we call a stranger. We don't know anything about them. And most likely we never will, because these people are going to pass by us. Even if you're working with someone for 2 years and you never see that person again, how much did you really learn about them? All you saw was what they did at work. It takes a long time to truly get to know somebody on a level that is going to encompass all of the trust that these people want from you. And I'm speaking to you at this point, because if you're listening to this, you probably have come across some of these situations that I'm talking about. And it can be a draining effect that people can have on you, especially when you have groups of people who are doing this not only to you, but you can see them doing it with everyone else. It becomes almost like a network. You get too many of these people around, you have a network of toxic people. And where do you fit into that equation? You can choose to be in these types of relationships with these people, or you can choose to withdraw, regather, and observe. And that was something else that I recommend for a lot of people, is that observe people. Once I started getting interested in how people function, completely opposite of me, this is not something as simple as people watching. We're talking about research, study, actually diving deep into how societies work, how cultures work, how primitive societies work, how people in cities operate and how they think and how they move versus the people who are in the country, poverty to the rich. All these dynamics, how do these people all fit together in that nexus, I always say. When you start looking at things like that, you understand there's so many different people out there, and we have a tendency as human beings to kind of withdraw everything down into our small little worlds. And we forget that we're connected to a much bigger, larger, quote unquote, network. You get too bogged down into one aspect of one person. You get in a relationship with someone, even, it could be a family member, it could be a boss, it could be a therapist, it could be anything. You get into these small little relationships with people, and you develop these relationships, and only you and the other person understand the true intent and purpose behind the relationship. Let's get back to that word real quick. You have a purpose. This person has a purpose, whether they figured it out or not. Together, you guys create a purpose for you two, your relationship. You can't look at it in groups at that point. You got to break it down to the smallest components. Just you and the other person. Even if you're in a group of 50 people, you're going to interact with one person at a time. You can scan that room. You can see what is the purpose behind every single person in this room. The people who you re-encounter on a normal basis. Now, this is talking about relationships. Regardless if it's, a brother, sister, mother, your children, your spouse, long-time working relationships, business partners, church members, what have you. It's an unspoken thing about trust. You know it when it's there, you know it when it's not there. What happens when it's not there? What's that feeling like? It's not a great feeling. Because when you re-encounter this person who is having issues, that trust issue is coming from issues. What are the issues? Somebody has to say something at some point. Somebody has to do something at some point. That's where brave and bold with the Brave Never Fall comes in. Because oftentimes I'm the type of person where you're being assertive and you have self-love, you will say, hey, what's the issue here? If it's me, let me know. And if it's you, I'm definitely going to let you know. Because when you're dealing, unfortunately, when people are dealing with people who do have self-love, they don't quite, at least what I've noticed, a lot of people don't even know what self-love is. So they approach people with a void of no self-love from themselves. So again, they project. A lot of times people don't know that they're doing it, but they do it. They are in a bad mood, so you're going to be in a bad mood. They're having a bad day, you're going to have a bad day. But here's the problem. What happens when you come in and you have a lapse and one day you're having a bad day? How do they respond? How do they respond? We've all had this problem where you've been there for other people. You've listened, you've learned, and you've been supportive, you've been unconditional. Through all their ups and downs, roller coasters, you've been there. You have one bad day, and what happens? Now, all of a sudden, it's almost like you broke this person's heart. They are looking at you like, what? You're having a bad day? You're Mr. Self-Love. You're Mrs. Self-Discipline. What's going on here? I don't know how to fix your problems. You don't get to have a bad day. You better be strong. I need you to be the way you are supposed to be when I want you to be it. You're not allowed to act this way. That's not what I expect of you. That's not why I'm in a relationship with you. I'm in a relationship with you because you're strong and you give me all the things that I need. How dare you walk around with this bad attitude day you're having today? This out of the ordinary blue moon moment you're having. How dare you? It happens to me all the time. But the good thing about it is, unlike when I was younger and I was foolish and stupid, I used to engage in these people and I would say, how dare you come at me and tell me that I'm not the person you want me to be? And next thing you know, you're in an argument only because you had a little bit of human emotion that day. That you made some choices someone else didn't agree with, as if they own your life. As if they own your life. Where when the shoe's on the other foot, you haven't done anything of the sort to these people. You have been nothing but supportive. You've been there to help them. You've been there to help them through the hard times and support them and say the right words at the right time. But these people, again, getting back to that happiness part, they want happiness, but they want it from you. They want to drain the happiness from you. They don't want to create it on their own. And as we move into intermission. Remember, everything and everyone in this world is connected. So what happens when happiness for these people that are battling themselves to find out who they are, regardless if they're aware of it or they're not? A lot of these things are subconsciously wars going on in these people's minds, and they don't quite understand or even care to understand how it works. They just want to get through each day as comfortable as possible. And they want things. They don't really want to work too hard for them. They don't want to know the truth about themselves, but they want to be happy. Now let's find this out again. They know they have flaws. They know there are things they need to work on, like as if they are crazy people. They need to dive in like an insane person and figure out these problems. They don't want to go through that. They know that is there, but they want to skip all that stuff and go straight to the happiness. I talked about this in the other podcast. They want to sit down at dinner, skip the drinks, skip the appetizers and the entree, and just go straight for the dessert. They want to skip the whole process and get right to the happy, sweet part. You can't figure out happiness if you haven't figured out the misery. You have to figure out the misery. These people are broken, and they want people who have fixed themselves, who are in a certain spot. They want that. So how do they get it? Well, I'll connect with this person, and I will learn everything I can about them, and then I'm going to take all the happiness I can and joy I can from this relationship, because it does feel good. It feels great. It feels amazing. I'm going to try to learn. These people a lot of times do mean well. But the problem is that because they're broken, they start blaming you for their unhappiness, because they project on you and they start believing, you know what? I thought this was going to be completely different. I thought because you were so happy and stable and self-disciplined, I thought that would somehow rub off on me. You're like, you're so happy. I just thought all I had to do is attach to you like a symbiotic relationship and everything's going to be fine. And I tell these people all the time, you made a huge mistake, because I got to this point by going through the fire alone. I got to this point by going through the fire on my path, on my journey to my purpose alone. I didn't suck it from somebody else. I didn't project it onto someone else. I owned up to what I had to do. I held myself accountable, and I faced every single flaw that I had. And I fought through them, and I changed what I could. And even now, I'm still on my journey to become the best version of myself. I tell these people this. Sure, I've made mistakes in the past. Sure, I've probably done the exact same thing that I'm aware of other people doing. That's why I'm so damn aware of what other people are doing. Because often, to get to the point where you can coach somebody, you have to have experienced it on some level. You don't become a coach by doing everything right. You become a coach by overcoming the damn things you did wrong. And I tell people this. And the people who really take it to heart are the ones that end up getting coached by me, who come back to me and say, you know, you were absolutely right. These people hold themselves accountable, and it's beautiful to watch because they are blossoming like flowers. They know it's through hard work. They saw me. They actually physically saw me over an extended period of time, not in a microcosm, not as a stranger, not as an acquaintance or some coworker. They actually saw me as an extended period of time go through this. And it's great because these people who I'm giving the advice to and helping out, a few of them I've never even met in person. This is just online and them seeing my development. And it's inspiring for myself to know that there are people out there who do want legitimate help, and they do want the pursuit of happiness on a level that will make you feel like an insane person until you get it. But that's what it takes. When you want something bad enough, you have to damn near go insane trying to get it. It can't be, I hope I get it. Maybe tomorrow. I'm just going to do enough. Those are all lazy excuses. It's the mindset of a weak person. It's not brave, and it's definitely not bold. Being brave and being bold is finding your flaws and focusing on each one and fixing them one at a time, making them a focal point, and you don't move on to the next one until one of those aspects is fixed and in your subconscious. Then you move on to the next one. You can't fix it all at one time. It's too much. And you certainly, if you want to be in a good working relationship with your boss and your coworkers, you want to be a good family member with your parents, you want to be a good family member to your children, to your spouse, you certainly can get in these relationships having not fixed everything. How does that work? You have to trust that you're going to get through the process eventually, so you can take on these tasks, and through unconditional love, people can see this person is working on themselves and it's beautiful to watch, and I want to be a part of it. I want to be around on the complete journey of this person's transformation. I'm going to allow this person to have their bad days. I'm going to allow this special, unique human being who is aware of all their issues and has overcome and forgave others and is trying to trust people. I'm going to give them the space and the latitude to make sure that they have every opportunity to do what they got to do, to get through what they got to get through. And I'm going to be there, and they don't have to worry about me being there. They're going to know I'm there because I know this person would do the same for me if I were in their position. Those are the type of people you want in your life. Those are very special, hard to find, rare people. Those are true unicorns. You can't just find them anywhere. In fact, you don't find them. They will land in your life when time is right. They will meet you on the path when the moment says so. You can't plan for these type of people. They're special. Make room for them in your life. And how do you do that? You make room for them by getting rid of all the toxic people. These people will glow. Again, these people will glow. You will know when you meet them. It won't be a question. You won't feel drained. You won't feel tired and frustrated. You won't feel mentally warped. These people will add value to your life that is unexplainable. Wait for them. Over time, trust has a way of coalescing, almost like a star coalesces into, or I should say, like in space, when a star goes supernova, it coalesces back into what they call a white dwarf. But on a bigger microcosm, on a bigger scale, that star was a big ball of gas and energy and nuclear fusion. And around it created life, because without a star, you don't get planets and moons. The connection between that star and the things that it created, it all runs together. If you wanted to put a word in it, it's almost like trust. But look what happens. If the planets and the moons trusted that the star would always be there, if they were living things, just think about this, because no star lives forever. Eventually, a star will supernova and coalesce back down into a white dwarf. Ending, it basically destroys what it created, the solar system. Whatever system that is surrounding that star is going to be destroyed by that very star that is giving it life. That's why I look at time in a way with the trust. You have this symbiotic relationship with certain people that you trust because it's invaluable. So you say, this could end violently. What makes this beautiful is that we're going to trust each other anyway, even though this has a capability of being a supernova. Together, we've created something. And again, this can be any relationship. Any relationship. Any type of relationship you could think of. You create a relationship which is almost like a symbiotic relationship for people who are like-minded with you. That's what it would feel like. It would feel as if this person is connected to you in a way that's unexplainable, and anything in this world has the chance to go supernova and be destroyed by the very people who created the connection. That doesn't mean you shouldn't trust in that connection for as long as it could possibly last, but you have to trust it. That's very hard and difficult for some people to do. Again, it's a choice though. It is a choice. You have to choose to trust someone. It's not always about the heart and you say, oh, this person is so beautiful. How many people have you seen have gotten their hearts broken because they truly trusted someone? You have to choose to trust someone. You don't know everything that's going on in people's lives because their lives are always changing. So trust is one of those things. That's why in Tao we say you might as well trust in the untrustworthy, or you'll make them untrustworthy if they're not. Just trust them. It's a choice. You trust them until you don't need to trust them anymore. But until they give you a reason, you should trust them. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Their true colors will come out in time. Their true intention will come out in time. Their purpose, regardless if they're aware of it or not, will come out in time. You need not be unhappy and hope and wish that this person is going to be the person you want them to be based on the idea that you may have flaws and you see in yourself and you're projecting them on other people. The insecurities of people is what creates a lot of the distrust we have with some of the relationships that I've seen. The people who don't trust themselves often don't trust anyone. And I find the people who trust themselves, they will take the gamble and trust the untrustworthy. They will take the gamble in the solar system, in that star, knowing that that star has the potential of going supernova and destroying the connection. The more secure you are in yourself, there is no pain involved in it when these people become untrustworthy, because it doesn't matter what these people are doing. If you have self-love, you have to continue trusting yourself regardless if these people trust you or not. You have nothing to prove. If you're being deceitful to people and you're out being malicious and you're being a person who is intent on trying to find your happiness through other people, that is a problem. If you're the type of person where you're broken and you're not fixed and you're not really putting in all the effort, you're hoping other people help you more than you help yourself, you don't trust yourself. So how could you possibly expect trust from someone else when you don't even know the capability of your own trust level? When you're telling yourself stories that aren't even true to yourself. Every single time you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you broke your own trust. People do this all the time. They say they want things. I tell people, how do you trust yourself? When you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do something, and you go and you do it and you exceed it, you went above and beyond trust. That's called self-discipline. When you break and betray yourself, when you start to get to a point where you distrust yourself, is when you start compiling up things that you're doing to yourself and you're not taking any accountability for them. You're not trying to fix them, not the way that you should. Especially if you're going to be in a relationship with someone. If you're alone and you live in solitude and you have to trust that you can get through life alone. You really better trust yourself in that aspect. But most people don't want to be alone. So if you don't want to be alone, you want good people around you who aren't toxic. You want people of high value around you. You have enough self-love. How do you think you get those people? Do you believe you get those people by not trusting them? Or do you keep people like that in your life by trusting in yourself and there's nothing to worry about because you're in a relationship, you're linked up with people who have the same core values that you have. They have self-love and self-discipline. They love themselves. They have high value in intellect. They have high value in their emotions and control over their emotions. They have some type of a spiritual connection to something. They know there's a higher purpose for themselves in life. They're taking care of themselves physically. They're not blaming other people. When they have issues, they will explain them to people. They will ask for help and advice, but they by no means expect someone to cure them or to bring them eternal joy and happiness. They know this is my deal, I have to go figure this out. And I hope that while I'm figuring this out, the people that claim they love me unconditionally, the people that said that they had my back and will always be there for me, they will be there for me because they will know that I'm not doing this because I'm a horrible person. I'm doing this because I'm trying to maintain my level of balance. I'm trying to raise the value of self-love I have for myself, not lower it. I'm trying to increase the level of self-discipline I have, not discard it like trash. If your life has value, you're going to walk around like that. You're not going to allow somebody to come in and destroy your value. If you have a brand new vehicle you drive off the lot, you're not going to pull up to someone and say, here's a hammer. Can you beat the shit out of it for me, please? No, that's your valuable asset. Your body is your most valuable asset. Your mind is a valuable asset. Your heart, your soul, these are invaluable to you. It starts there. The people who don't trust people walk out every day into this world. They don't have all the answers, but they want all the answers. And they want them now, they want them fast. They want the quick fix. They want to live the fake life of everything's fine when they're not fine. These are the people that you have to be careful for. The people who are out in the world who are masking the fact that their lives are a complete mess. They won't admit it. They'll fake it until they make it. They'll play the part. They'll link up with the right people. They'll do everything that they have to do to make sure they maintain the illusion that they have the opportunity, like everyone else, to be trustworthy when these people are not. And they know that they're not. And they're miserable. I've seen enough of these people to understand the ones to stay away from and the ones to keep in my life. The ones that I chose to stay away from, I have never regretted one of those people that I left. The people that I told, you are not healthy for me, or to my son, or to my family, or to my workplace, anything, doesn't mean I hate this person. I actually love these people because they have the opportunity to go and do something great, like change some of the things that are inside of them. And people say, well, how dare you say that about them? Why don't you go change something about yourself? I feel comfortable saying those things because I'm always working on myself. I'd be the last person to tell you that I'm perfect. I'd be the last person to tell you I have everything figured out. I'd be the last person to tell you that I'm going to always be perfect and everything that I do is always going to be right and I'm never going to make a bad decision or have a bad day. Fundamentally not true. That's why people trust me. Because I'll be the first one to tell you that I have screwed up many times in my life. I've made plenty of bad decisions. I've been through hell and I chose to create my own happiness for myself through a version of myself that isn't fake it till you make it. It's raw and it's real. It's brave and it's bold. Anybody can walk up to me and ask me anything and I would tell you the honest truth. And I didn't used to be that way. That's how I know that it works. The people who I left, who were like the version I used to be, now we're talking about making some forward momentum. Because you don't have to worry about all these people. You don't miss them because they brought no value to your life. You know when you've made the wrong decision, letting someone out of your life that had value, because you would never stop thinking about this person. They cannot be replaced. There's no amount of words in the world that you wouldn't say to get these people back into your life after you've wronged them and let them go. The people that are not like that, you don't think about them at all. They're not an option. They're an afterthought. They were toxic people and there's nothing to miss. In fact, you feel more like you're celebrating. You feel relieved when these people are gone. Because they brought nothing to the table but misery. They drained the life out of you. They made you feel as if you were something you weren't. They made you feel like you couldn't accomplish the things you know you could and you should accomplish. They made you feel like you were less than a human being, that you had no self-love, no self-value. These people walked a path that was dark, dirty, ignorant. No compassion, no loyalty. Fundamentally flawed, toxic people. They are aware of it. But again, they fake it till they make it. You weren't aware of it because you had trust in these people. And there was nothing wrong with that. But when it was time to recognize real, and you face these people, and you see the warning signs, you don't ignore them, and you take action. Bold action. And you say goodbye. I love myself too much to stay involved with a toxic person. I love myself too much to stay in a relationship with somebody who wants far more from me than I'm getting in return. Value for value. You don't go into a bank and hand them a ton of money and say, I don't ever want to see that again. Just keep it. What kind of a transaction is that? You are not a volunteer service. You are not a charity. You are a living human being who has feelings and emotions just like everyone else. You're entitled to your good days. You're entitled to your bad days just like everyone else. You have a right to frown on sunny days and sing and happy and celebrate during a rainstorm. That is your choice. No one has a right to tell you that otherwise. The good thing about it, if I could give any positivity to this, is that once you figure these things out, you realize there is someone out there, multiple people out there, who will eventually link up with you and you will know, fundamentally know, these are the people I have to keep in my life. They're going to raise the value. They're going to be there for me no matter what. It's a great feeling because you know, no matter what you do, the mistakes you make, because they're not coming from ill will, malevolence, and malice, and choices to make people crumble because you're unhappy. When people love you unconditionally and they're invested in you as much, if not more, than you're invested in them, which makes you want to just raise the value of yourself so you can keep investing into these people who are great, then the people who don't trust you don't matter. And it doesn't matter if you trust them because they're not in your life anymore. The Tao teaches us again. I'm going to say it one more time. Trust the untrustworthy. You have to trust in people, even if they're untrustworthy, or you're going to make them untrustworthy anyway. Once you find that they're untrustworthy, it doesn't matter. So trusting is easy and free. It doesn't hold the same value as being there for somebody unconditionally. You can be fooled by people who, quote unquote, are trustworthy. Look deeper than that. You know that because you can start with yourself. How trustworthy are you right now? You know the answer to that question. Are you trustworthy? How much self-love do you have for yourself in this moment? What are you capable of doing in the future? Are you capable of being a person who has empathy and compassion for others? Do you have patience? Do you have self-discipline? Have you taken the fundamental steps to figure out what your purpose is? Have you started walking your path towards that purpose? Have you looked in the mirror and addressed all the flaws that you have and started fixing them one by one? Are you blaming other people for your misery? Are you projecting? Are you manipulative? Are you narcissistic? We can go down the line. That's how I fix myself. I recognize so many things about myself, and I picked the ones that were strengths for me, that were positives, and I wanted to build on those. And the things that were flaws, I wanted to understand them fully and completely and work on those as well. And it takes a long, long time to figure these things out, because as a human existence, we don't live and die naturally in 10 to 11 years. We have long lives as human beings. And these long lives go by quicker than you think. You don't have as much time as you think, but you do have time. If those special people in your life that you claim you love unconditionally are really that important to you, you'll start figuring it out very quickly. The ones that you just want to focus on and have in your life unconditionally and have that trust with them, or you'll let them go. And you'll trust that in the future, the right people will come along just at the right time. And you won't have to be fake. You won't have to feel drained and sad and tired and frustrated when people don't understand you. It won't matter, because you're creating your own orb of happiness for yourself that you're going to keep right there in your chest, right in your heart. You're protected. That orb will protect your heart, your feelings. You can be proud of who you are because you know you're waking up and you don't have any bad thoughts or ill will towards anyone else. You're not judging people. You're not expecting the impossible from other people. You don't expect other people to be perfect. And you accept the fact that people are going to be completely opposite with you in that regard. Except you don't have to let them in. And they can't hurt you because you have your armor. You're shielded by the fact that you're aware of all these things. That was one of the things that I loved the most about figuring out who I was that now I'm protected and I can go out in this world and nobody fools me anymore. Their actions speak so much more louder than their words. You can have the opportunity to give people a shot. It's up to them what they want to do with that shot. If you have value for yourself, you don't owe it to anybody else to keep them in your life. Your life is valuable. You have things you want to do in life. You have a purpose. That's far more greater than people who are just on the fringe, who don't really want to be in your life. They just want to take things from it. They want to take all your happiness and your success and all the things that are good about you until you're not happy anymore, and then they discard you. That's what a narcissist does. They want to take all your happiness on the days that they have darkness, and they want to have a buddy in darkness. So they project. That's what a manipulator does. They want to keep all the happiness for themselves. When they get it, they're joyous, they're happy, all the days are great. Who cares if you're having a bad day? That's what a selfish person does. We can go on and on and on with these people. It's called being toxic. And a lot of times these people don't want to hear that. I know I didn't want to hear it when I was toxic. And yes, I used to be a toxic person. That's why I feel so comfortable talking like this and talking about myself that way. I used to be exactly what I just described to you. I used to be on the verge of being I don't think I was ever a full-blown severe narcissist, but as any human being, we all have narcissistic qualities, and I certainly had mine, and I wasn't even aware of them. I certainly was selfish. I did my fair share of manipulating, but I was young, dumb, stupid, didn't know anything about life, wanted everything to come easy for me, wanted to be comfortable, wanted to just live life and not earn anything, just wanted it all handed to me. Until I realized there's no gratification in that. There's no satisfaction in that. There's no true happiness in that. There's no self-love in that. There's no self-discipline in that mindset, that lifestyle. Once you find your purpose, then things start to change. Once you find self-love, then you find the people who have self-love for themselves will gravitate towards you. These people suddenly start showing up. The true ones, not the fake it till you make it ones. You owe it to yourself to find out who you are. Embrace your self-love, find it and embrace it hard, because that's going to be your core, your happiness that you create for yourself. You're going to want to hold on to that so tight. That is your truest form of yourself. Happiness through self-love and self-discipline. That is who you are. Be stronger than everyone else around you. Be braver. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't settle for people. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them be selfish with you. Don't let them take away from you all the trust you have in yourself. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.